Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back to 365 Days of Love and Miracles with A Course in Miracles. My name is Arlene Geres, and I am so glad that you are here. Please remember to stay right until the very end because we have a special treat for you. And if you enjoyed today's video, please click like and subscribe below because this helps others to find us on YouTube. Today's lesson is lesson 19. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. Let's take a look. The idea for today is obviously the reason why your seeing does not affect you alone. You will notice at times the ideas related to thinking precede those related to perceiving, while at other times the order is reversed. The reason is that the order does not matter. Thinking and its results are really simultaneous, for cause and effect are never separate. We tend to think that perceiving comes first. First I see something and then I think about it, or I have certain ideas or thoughts about it, certain judgments. We might perceive something and say this is good, this is bad. Oh, sí, muy bueno. In the preceding lessons, we have been talking about how our thinking relates to what we see or how we see. In lesson 7, we were told, I see only the past, in which we are seeing from our own perspective, our own experience. In lesson 9, we learned, I see nothing as it is now. I'm seeing through my earthly eyes, while A Course in Miracles is helping us to learn how to see through our spiritual eye. Lesson 12 told us, I am upset because I see a meaningless world. We give the meaning to what we see. And yet, when we are giving it the meaning through our earthly eyes or the eyes of the ego, it actually doesn't exist, so it has no meaning. That's a big idea and a hard one for us to wrap our minds around. Lesson 15, my thoughts are images I have made. In other words, I already have the pictures in my head. I look out and I superimpose that or I project that onto what I'm looking at. However, whether we're seeing through our human eyes, seeing through our ego, or seeing through our spiritual eyes, it says here that it really doesn't matter because it says the order does not matter. Thinking and its results are really simultaneous, where cause and effect are never separate. They happen. Time in the spiritual world is completely different. We are actually told in A Course in Miracles that everything is happening at exactly the same time. And this is another really hard idea for us to wrap our minds around. But here is telling us cause and effect are never separate. Let's read on. Today, we are again emphasizing the idea that minds are joined. This is rarely a wholly welcome idea at first, since it seems to carry with it an enormous sense of responsibility and may even be regarded as an invasion of privacy. Yet it is a fact that there are no private thoughts. Despite your initial resistance to this idea, you will yet understand that it must be true if salvation is possible at all. And salvation must be possible because it is the will of God. Let's read on. The Course tells us in lesson 18 that I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. This does carry an enormous amount of responsibility for each one of us to be responsible for our thoughts and thus what we see. We are all connected. The Course tells us that all minds are joined. We are part of one mind and part of God. I find this to be a comforting idea because it helps me to remember to be careful about my thinking and to be careful about my behavior. I cannot hurt you without hurting me. And when I love you, I end up loving myself. They go hand in hand. One does not go without the other. If I'm holding a resentment against you, I'm really holding a resentment against myself. Let's read on. Despite your initial resistance to this idea, you will yet understand that it must be true if salvation is possible at all. Salvation meaning unity with God and all of creation. When we accept this idea, we have freedom from the ego. That's really what salvation is. Let's read on. A minute or so of mind searching which today's exercises require, is to be undertaken with eyes closed. The idea for today is to be repeated first, and then the mind should be carefully searched for the thoughts it contains at that time. As you consider each one, name it in terms of the central person or theme it contains, and holding it in your mind as you do so, say, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of this thoughts about blank. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of this thoughts about blank. If you would like to close your eyes for a moment, and I'm just going to read this, you can say it to yourself as you think about different people, different places, different things. Could be anything. I'm sitting outside, so I think to myself, I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of these incredible palm trees behind me. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of talking to you through this video. That thought brings me such comfort because I literally can feel a team of angels behind me, and some of them have your names. So let's just do that. Go ahead, close your eyes. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of this thought about. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of this thought about. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of this thought about. Go ahead and open your eyes. Let's read on. The requirement of as much indiscriminateness as possible in selecting subjects for the practice periods should be quite familiar to you by now, and will no longer be repeated each day, although it will occasionally be included as a reminder. Do not forget, however, that random selection of subjects for all practice periods remains essential throughout. Lack of order in this connection will ultimately make the recognition of lack of order of miracles meaningful to you. All of the lessons that we have been practicing so far have reminded us to be indiscriminate in choosing what we focus on. Just let the thoughts come to us, or just glancing around, letting our eyes fall on whatever they happen to fall upon, not choosing something we like versus something we don't like, just being completely indiscriminate. The reason for this is that we are going to discover that miracles show up in our lives in a completely random way. The Course tells us that there is no order of difficulty in miracles. All of them are equally wonderful. And I'm so excited that we get to share this together. Let's continue reading. Apart from the as-needed application of today's idea, at least 3 practice periods are required, shortening the length of time involved if necessary. Do not attempt more than 4. Once again, our practice period is our morning practice period, our evening practice period, and 1 or 2 during the day. You get to choose a time that works best for you. It might be at meal times, as it is for me. Perhaps it's going to be when you go for your walk or your run after work, but just focusing back in on this lesson. I am not alone in experiencing the effect of my thoughts about blank. Thanks so much for listening right until the end. Are you ready for our special treat?
I don't think the cruise ship can go over here.
Just little boats.
Little boats, yeah.
See the sailboat?
I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thought about that video. I love you. Have an absolutely blessed day, my friends.